So the other guys, so today waxaan ka fargaraynaa waxa la yidhaahdo malware analysis, right? Basically waxaan baranaynaa the static indicators, how to analyze a specific type of a piece of malware. Then we're gonna learn also sida loo sameeyo threat intelligence investigation or lookup. So basically malware waxa la yidhaahdo, it's short. I don't know if you have the description. Let's see. So we're gonna learn today the workflow, how exactly to look for if you're a SOC, what to do, and when you have a specific piece of malware, how do you investigate it. We're gonna learn how to extract static indicators from suspicious files, hashes, strings, file types, basic header data. So we're not gonna do any dynamic analysis. So we're not gonna touch the file. Basically, we can extract the information that will help us in fahano file inuu malicious yahay in kale. Waxaan baranaynaa ayadana how to use threat intelligence platforms to enrich data. We're gonna learn how to use VirusTotal, MalwareBazaar, abuse IBDB, and then also hyper analysis and some more. So there's a lot of tools that we're gonna touch today. We're gonna learn how to map malware behavior to MITRE ATT&CK. I told you guys when we were doing the threat intelligence, I think it was first few sections of the course, how important is this MITRE ATT&CK. My recommendation for you guys is inaad si gooni u explore garaysaan MITRE ATT&CK iyo sida loo isticmaalo. And then we're gonna work on an incident. We're gonna learn how to document finding and also escalate to the SOC L2. So malware marka hore waxaa laga soo gaabiya short for malicious software. Right? Mal is for malicious, where is short for software. So labada la isku dhajiya, and then it became malware. So malicious, we know it's some a application oo loogu talagalay inay wax qaldan samayso, right? Computerka inay wax ka tirtirto, information computerka ka aruuriso, script aan loogu talagalay in run garayso, something that hurts the user or the system ayaa waxaa la yidhahdaa malicious, okay? Software, we know all software, so it's basically application, file, something oo wax qaldan samaynaya on your system, right? So basically markii qof marka uu kuu soo diro ama user loo soo diro, right? And saga waxaa laga rabaa filekaas inay analyze garayaan, ay fiiriyaan. So there's two types of malware, not actually three. Mid waxaa la yidhahdaa static analysis. So static analysis is basically fileka iyo soo egaya inaad fiiriso, you're not gonna run the file. Then waxaa jiro dynamic analysis oo ah fileka inaad execution ku samayso oo maxaa la dhahaa sandbox aad ku samayso aad run garaysid, then aad fiiriso how it behaves. Basically, you're running it on a test environment. You're not running on your computer, because computer is actually going to infect your computer. And then there is reverse engineering, or application in simple sameeyo. And those IDA or Gidra, those are the tools all over. So basically, you unbacking the entire application. You're looking at the computer level, exactly what has made us in a phase. So we have the L1, the L1 type. So you collect the file metadata, file cache, CISA, size file ka, type file ka. You extract strings and basic IOCs. You do the threat intelligence submission. So direct file can now have an exhibit to VirusTotal, things like that. MalwareBazaar, and also you read a decision. You read a decision to say, yeah, this is bad or not. Okay, and then you document, and then you send it that to the next person. Of marka oo L2 actually some of L1s do this as well, but L2 dadka waxaa laga rabaa inay fileka ay run garayaan. File detonation basically means fileka inaad run garaysid oo environment or test oo loogu talagalay la yiraahdo maxaa la dhahaa malware analysis lab inaad ku fileka ku run garaysid, then aad fiirisid waxa uu sameynayo, okay? So maxaa sameynaysa, you capture the process trees, you classify malware family, you extract dynamic IOCs, and then you write the detection rule, have that talk next time in afterwards. And then reverse engineering is someone or more in depth, or basically a application deeply analyze gareeyo oo gudaha u galo oo in computer level u tago, instruction computer u siinayo application inuu soo akhriyo. So adiga meeshaan ku nooshahay, like you can also do some of this right here. So SOC L1 basically waxaa laga rabo within scope waxaa laga rabaa inaad capture the file hash, suspicious file. You do the analysis using threat intelligence tools. You can run the string extraction and a copy of the file. You can search threat intel sources with a hash. You can pull the activity from the file. You can open a ticket. That is exactly what laga raba as a SOC L1 SMS. And then here is when you don't do, okay? You don't execute the binder on the system, any system, because today what has actually it's actual malware, right? Malware run away, so computer that current graded, you're gonna be in big trouble. So don't do that. Okay, that's actually a markii hore intaan class bilaabnay sheeg, but fileka amaanta run garaynayna ama aan investigation ku sameynayna is actual malware. Or computer laga yaabo inay dhibaato u geysato. So don't run on your computer. Don't download the executable. Don't touch it. Don't run it. Okay. Haddii aad company u shaqeynaysin, don't do that. Okay, because it's gonna infect the system. So waxaan isku sameynin. It's not your job. So this is reverse engineering job. This is something or SMAN, right? Or modify a detection rule. You can actually write a detection rule if you have the skills, quarantine or isolate a host yourself. That up to computer or investigate or sometimes SOC L1 waxay sameeyaan decision iska gaaraan kaliya yeah, I'm gonna isolate this computer. So don't do that. So safety before anything else. Okay, so file ka amaanta ran garaynayna, as I told you guys, is an actual file, a malicious file. Okay, so file ka, right? Foreign. Okay, we're gonna use the hash of the file to analyze it. Okay, so haddaa haysid virtual machine oo lagu talagalay inaad ku analyze, that's fine. Okay, it has to be a computer kaaga separate system ah haysid oo loogu talagalay malware analysis. So files are open only in dedicated analysis VM by L2s, computer kaaga never on your workstation. File haddaa double click ku dhahdid, it's gonna open. So haddaa haysid executable or file lagu soo diro, if you double click on it, it's actually gonna run. So don't do that. Rename and isolate. So you can do that, right? Sometimes dadka waxay sameeyaan isku dayaan inay maxaa la dhahaa fileka oo kale inay magaca ka bedelaan, something like that. Copies fileka ayaa markasta inaad ka shaqeysaa, never on originals. Fileka originalkiisa markasta ha analyze garaynin. You put it somewhere, right? So hash ko kale heli kartaa, that you can use for analysis. But original fileka usually inta badan lama taabto as evidence. Threat every system as compromised. If a symbol came from a host, assume the host is owned. Do not log in interactively to that device. Device ka that shit, you're gonna cause problems because evidence is ku ciyaartaa laga yaabaa. So host oo la compromise gareeyay, you don't have to remotely gashido analysis ka computer ku sameeyay. Basically waxa u baahan tahay the logs ana ka soo qaadatid, logs ka analyze gareysid, not on the endpoint or maxaa la dhahaa oo la compromise gareeyay. Okay. So what is static analysis? So static analysis is basically something that you looking at the application ka naftirkiisa fiirinaysa, right? You're not touching it. File ka fiirinaysa so u shaqeeyo, you're looking for information, but you're not touching it. Okay. So hashes is the primary key malware triage or SIGA isticmaalaan, right? So hash is basically a fingerprint of the file. Right, so file can or this is the file, right? Even though it can be sometimes like most of the time is what we use for analysis. So hash is a fixed length fingerprint, same file, equal to same hash, change 1 byte, completely different hash. So file kada wax ka bedeshid oo isbedelaya, intaadan wax ka bedelin, it's gonna see the same hash. So we have MD5 hash, there is SHA-1, there is SHA-256. So MD5, how I was 32 hex chars, right? Basically, this is the first hash or still while in IOCs field. So I directed a sample on a file. We'll see people say, hey, this is the MD5 hash of this file. Right, so collision exists, files can have the same MD5 hashes, but basically you can use it for lookup. And then SHA-1, it's 40 hex characters. It's broken, so basically it's deprecated, but it's still well estimala, right? Now, the most current considered collision resistance or file key there's a half file clear that specific hash. So collision two files in a lahadan the same hash. So MD5, that is a problem for MD5, but not for SHA-256, right? Uses this is it's fixed the problem of collision. So it's collision resistance, okay? So how do you get a hash of a file? This is actually very easy. If you are in PowerShell, file ka computer ka ku jiro kale, you can just do get file hash algorithmic, and then you telling the PowerShell, استعمال SHA-256, and then you provide the file. Then it's gonna give you the SHA-256 file. هذا MD5 هنا you just do MD5 right here, right, and then it gives you the MD5 hash. Linux هذا كجرتي you do SHA-256 sum of the file, and then you get the symbol hash كذا. Python adaptation is how you do it. But most of the time you're going to be in Windows or you're going to be in Linux, right? And this is how we do that. So basically you just adapted SHA-256 adapted. You just do SHA-256 sum, and then you run the file. Actually, see if I can have my I'll show you guys. Let's do this. So let's see if I can bring this up to the screen, or maybe if I do this and grab this. You guys see my Linux screen? You guys see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I have some files here. Hopefully I have some files here. So let's see if I file here. Let's see if that. So that episode called the SHA-256 of command.txt. See, you can do SHA-256 and SHA-256 SAM, and then file casino. So if I do command, so that will give me the SHA-256 of that file. I have MD5, MD5 SAM, and then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get the MD5 for that file. So that is how you can get the on Linux, Windows, that could just you can do the same. But then you have the SHA now, you can copy this SHA and just analyze it on old ESHEC and open source tools. Like in file security, that's not gonna be good. Also, file can file sensitive or information but right? Let's see cat. So all this I have to admin, Amanda, blah blah. But file can analyze right? Or angle a public database. So that's not going to be good because I'm exposing all this information to the public. But if I only have the SHA-256, that is safer, right? Some it's not what I wanted. Yeah, so that's that. So that is that, guys. So that's how you get the SHA-256. It's easier on all of the devices. If you have Windows that we just did, you can do that. All right. So let's put this in here and then continue. Let's do this. Okay. So that's how you get that. So we had file type identification, right? So file kasta ama fileka haduu yahay Windows executable, haduu Linux yahay, haduu PDF yahay, haduu Word document, waxaa jiro qaab lagu aqoonsan jiro. So waxaa jiro waxa la dhahayo the magic byte. Okay, so Windows kala dal ilgelinaysid, the magic byte for Windows is 4G5A, or ASCII haday tan you can get the MZ, right? So file kala ilgelinaysid ina fahmi kartaa about what kind of file uu yahay, right? So let's say attackers haday rename garayaan payload.exe, right, to invoice.pdf. The extension wuxuu ii sheegaya inuu PDF file yahay, laakiin it's executable. Executable hala file rangaroobi karo oo application oo hadaa double click ku will do something, right? So the bad guys waxay rabaan inay kaaga dhigaan this executable .pdf file. PDF file waxaa laga this is PDF file, I'm gonna open it. So the extension of the file is gonna lie, but the magic bytes do not. So hadii kan lagu soo diro kale, right? You're gonna see, hey, this is Windows executable. So hadaa aragtid file kan as invoice.pdf oo haysto MZ or 4D5A, then you're gonna understand inuusan ahayn .pdf file oo yahay executable. Right here, you have the magic for Linux files. So it'll be 7F, 45, 4C, 46, and then it's going to say .elf. So that is Linux executable, right? And then you have Office 365 Office documents. So there's the magic part for FC is also 50, 4B, 0304. And then for ASCII, you have BK. Usually, sometimes the micro enable Office are also zip archives. This is waxyaalaha ugu badan oo the bad guys are isticmaalaan for their delivery or initial access. Then PDFs right here, right? So the way I go back to Hawaii, if you do file type, it can actually show you what the file type is. Okay. So for example, guys, let me go back again to my device again right here. So hadda this file, then the ls right here. So file hadda is somehow .sh file, right? So this file is .txt file extension .txt. So if I do file, come on, it's gonna tell me what kind of type of file is this. So it's gonna tell me this is txt file, right? A text file is not executable file. What about if I do file and then if I do fix? Let's see what that file is. So that one is pound again shell script. So this one is a script, right? It's actually says .sh. So that tells me it's a script, but also right here, I can tell it's from actually an actual script. What about if you do this guy? If I do file, and if I do mail something like that. Yeah, if I run that. So this is a gzip file, compressed data, last modified, blah, blah. So it tells me also that is a gzip file, okay? But the bad guys waxay samayn karaan magacaan ka bedelayaan, or not the name, but they're going to change the extension of the file. So file executable waxay ka dhigi karaan inuu yahay PDF file, right? Or file maxaa la dhahaa and txt waxaa la dhigi karaa inuu executable yahay. But marka file at maxaa la dhahaa command run gelisay is actually going to tell you the exact file extension that you are dealing with. All right. So string is other important command that you can use. So most binders contain printable text, URLs, error messages, registry keys, file paths, strings, extracting them all. So if you're looking for something in this file, right, or and URL or IP address or something you can use the string command. In Linux, you can do the string. Then this and says, hey, I'm looking for maybe 6 numbers, and then you give the file name, right? And then you can actually extract to this string txt, and then you can actually take a look. But what we're gonna do today, it's not that. So let me grab my Linux screen right here. So hopefully, so if you do strings. And then come on. So right now, hey, show me all the strings in this file. So you can see all these strings from this file. So so there is Twitter, tweak, to watch, tutorial, topic. So this is where you can get. I can also do in a clear like hi to star. Anything that is number code or 20, right? So you can see all the numbers, text or not text, but strings that are more than 20. So I can see this one is actually one of the things that I will look at, because this is really a DNS, it's a weird name, system administrator, google.com, database, something. So that file can analyze those will be an interest for you. Right? This is anything that is in this file, or let's risk is a 20, right? So password change with this one, you're gonna see well-known DNN.policy text enterprise. So this is waxyaalaha hadhow aad raadinayso kale baa ka dhex fiirinaysa that specific file. Okay. So let's put that in the side and then continue. But yeah, so that's the string. This is also Windows that could kale. This is waxyaalaha ay ku tusayso kale. For example, URLs and IP address that raadinaysid, right? Or file path that raadinayso kale. It can show you file mesh or wax ku drop garaynayo. It's going to show you the registry keys. If there's any living off the land binaries right here, if there's any encoding, it's going to show you all that. And then had the output must meaning, right? But you can do a strings connected code that gelin kartaa on a text file that talk right? So right here waxaan doonaa strings. I'm looking for anything that is greater than 8 from this invoice, and I'm looking for only the 20, the first 20. So if I go back to my Linux device, bring it here. Okay, let's actually do clear. So that rabo kala waxaan dhigi karaa strings. Okay, let's do N8, and then we'll have something in a common, which is the file I had in it. We can pipe to that, and then we can say tail, and then just do 20. Okay. Okay. So right now, this is what we have, right? The 20 is actually showing me the first 8. So 1, 2, 3. This actually will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be 20, right? So this is what we have right now. Okay. So if you are looking for yesterday, blah, blah, zip files, and then the strange DNS query that happened in here. Okay. All right. So that is that, and then this is what waxyaalaha heli kartid. So this is a string. This is what you found when we run this. Service host is going to show you this. It's going to show you some PowerShell commands. So that's also interesting. It's going to show you where the updates came from. So someone downloading something from this website, and some registry key activity. We talked about run keys. So maybe this is some kind of persistence. We talked about the PowerShell suspicious commands, the encoded command, and also the -NOP and -W, and how bad they are. Looks like some task creation, right? So someone is creating a task. So that's called scheduled task create right here. Someone creating a scheduled task. So this is actually an interesting highlight information that you can get. So information you can actually search what those are. Virtual allocation, right? It's actually doing some, you should get DLL. So kind of DLL, so actually it's importing this for some reason. And then here is actually what you can gather. This looks like some process injection. This is T1055. You can Google that. It's MITRE ATT&CK technique. Network IOC, so you have a URL that's using .tk, right? So maybe this is a maybe C2. You have file dropped in this public user, right? This is also a common invasion. You have persistence. We talked about this run key, right? So basically they write in the run key right here, and then obfuscation. So they're actually using PowerShell -ENC. It's also base64, and then living off the land. They're using scheduled task and also WMIC or WMIC. So that's actually using lol bins. So indicator of compromise, we talked about IOCs. It's very important, guys. IOCs in F19. IOCs consider shaking they are not all equal, right? Perimeter of bank, so let's say Marcus Samhala kala duwan yihiin, right? The hash swap handle is easy. Why? Because Marcus in Badalan, the bad guys, the hash of file is very easy. IP address so kala handle in a IP address or some is also easy. Domain name they can have multiple domains. So meesha ugu badan oo ka hadalna waxa waaye oo the bad guys kula dagaal karno is right here at the top. Saddexda ugu horeyso. User agents, registry paths, mutex, and also moderate to change. They can also still change, but it's actually going to annoy them. Mesh and tools challenging the Cobalt Strike, Mimikatz tools we can actually maybe block their tools. But mesh and schedule task, persistence, attacker must redesign the operation, process injection, right? This is mesh the bad guys so go back please and check the perimeter of pain that we talked about. All right, so VirusTotal, one of the threat intelligence inshallah. So VirusTotal is a threat intelligence platform. It's not free. There is enterprise version, but anaga waxa ugu baahanahay si free ah ku isticmaali karnaa. So wuxuu sameeyaa inta badan 5 things ayuu ka kooban yahay. So detection is going to show you how many engines or how many companies those are actually maxaa la dhahaa companyyaasha oo inta badan antiviruska iyo EDR-ka waxaa sameeya. So wuxuu ku tusaa how many companies ayaa filekan u arkay inuu malicious yahay. So usually you will see 0 out of 7 or 70, ama waxaa arkaysaa 30 out of 70. Sometimes you can see 0 out of 70, right? But one thing I want to tell you guys, 0 out of 70 doesn't mean safe. Waxaa arkay dhalinyaro tiro badan oo aan la shaqeeyo ama kuwa la soo shaqeey jiray markay arkaan oo kale, they want to do malware analysis. They're going to get the hash, they're going to throw it in VirusTotal, and they're going to say, yeah, we got 0 out of 70, so we're good. It doesn't mean you're good. It means, it could mean, file code malicious yahay oosan ahayn, but also waxaa laga ka dhignaa kartaa sambalka aad la gelinayso inuu yahay a new sample. Maxaa la weerar cusub oo nobody oosan ogeyn oo kale inuu yahay. Tusaale ahaan oo kale ka soo qaad. Nin aan weligiis tuug noqonin oo maxaa la dhahaa weligiis aan waxadin, right? Haddii oo aan la ogeyn inuu tuug inuu yahay ka soo qaad, right? Inuu tuug yahay ka soo qaad. Laakiin weligiis wax ma xadin. So nobody knows inuu tuug yahay in kale, right? Maalin hadduu gurigaaga soo hormaro oo hal maalin waxado, laakiin aanan maxaa la dhahaa maadaama hore loo aqoon hore uusan tuug ahayn, right? Haddii la soo qabto maxaa la is dhahaa ninkan wax cadayna aan lagu hayn, waxaa la ninkan ninkan nin fiican waayo waxba ma xadin weligiis cadayn kuma hayno. Does that automatically mean inuusan tuug? It doesn't, right? Because he is took, but we don't know inuu tuug yahay in kale, right? So malware markuu cusub yahay oo markaas dabka laga soo qaaday la soo build gareeyay oo maalinta ugu horeysa la isticmaalay ay tahay companyyaasha inta badan they don't have any detection for it, they don't even know about it, right? So haddii marka maalintaas oo kale aad la kulantid ama target attack inuu yahay companygaaga loo develop gareeyay in lagu target gareeyo maalinta ugu horeyso, right? Nobody will know about it. So it doesn't mean marka inuu safe yahay. So haddaa aragtid 30 plus out of 70 high confidence malicious, waxyaalaha kale ku saa file size-ka, type-ka, signature-ka file-ka, maxaa la waxyaalaha soo import gareeyo haddii oo Windows yahay, all that things. And the relationship, it's going to show you files oo drop gareeyay, the files oo soo dolan gareeyay, URLs oo la xiriir, all that stuff. And then the behavior is the sandbox or rangareynaya marka hore. The actual file ka marka sandbox marka ku sameynaysa file ka marka ku upload gareysid VirusTotal, it actually will run it. File is rangareynaysa, and then waxay ku tusaysaa the behavior, the process oo create gareeyay, registry keys oo taabanayo, network connection oo sameynayo, all that. And also it actually shows you MITRE ATT&CK techniques that's used. Waxaa kaloo jira community. So community basically it will show you file kan waxay ka og yihiin, right? Haddii ay companygooda lagu target gareeyay, they're going to say, hey, yeah, we saw this, maxaa la this is what it does, things like that. So this is very important, guys, because I know a lot of people that was fired because of this, okay? File-ka, markii actual file oo ku yimaado, don't upload the file to the public. Don't do that, right? Because file-ka waxaa ku jiri kara sensitive information. Waxaa wahay hadda ka hor, I think it was 3 years ago, company oo shaqeynaya, there was someone oo L1 ahay. Usually, structure ka inii soo sheegay, it's L1, it's L2, and then L3 on lead, right? So file ka markuu L1 ka oo analyst sameeyo, they're going to send it to L2, the L2 will going to send it to L3, L3 will going to send it to lead, right? So file ala isoo diray. So file ka L1 so analyze gareeyay. Marka on call tahay, usually there's no maxaa la dhahaa L2 iyo L3 inta badan ma jiraan. So L2 L3 they sometimes depending on the schedule. So directly of L2 L1 ayaa file isoo diray. So say, hey, shit, this is what's happening, I want you to take a look. So in ticket ka ana laga assign gareeyay, I took the ticket, right? So waa fiiri and I saw inaysan wax problem inaysan ahayn. So I didn't comment waxaas iyo note ma aanan gelin because I was busy at the time and it was weekend. But Monday markaa soo laabtay waxaa arkay message oo ii soo diray qofkii ticket ka shaqeynayay. And then they said, hey, Bashir, we did some file analysis and this is what I did, this is what I did. So basically what they did was they uploaded the file to a public repo. File ka marka wuxuu ahay file oo Excel Excelka waxaa ku jiray employee data or company marka international company oo ahay, so employee data for people employees in Sri Lanka or within Sri Lanka or Singapore, not Sri Lanka, Singapore. So that time waxaa ka dhigan tahay public marka data gelis, you leaked that information to the public. Anybody can see it. Salaryga because file ka caadi ku upload gareys instead of the hash of the file, she uploaded the entire document to the public site, right? So aniga as a lead at that time, you have to report to the your manager, you have to report to the legal, you have to report to the privacy team, and then that person will let go in just 2 hours. 2 hours kabacdi, she was gone. Because sababta waxay tahay your expectation waxa waaye adaa cyber security you shouldn't be doing this, right? So that file waxa ku jiray personal file information, addresses, lacagta ay qaataan all those employees, because fileka accidentally, sometimes system accidentally or false false positive wise system waxyaala qaldan oo sometimes detect garayna. So wax kasto ina ula tacaamisho ina analysis ku samaysid naar inaad wax kasta publicly. So here what do you do? Right? Paste the SHA-256 into the virus source search, right? You're going to see what had the cadlane. But here, drag the file into the upload box. Don't do that. Expectation of how all the metadata pass wax kasta meesha gelinaysa. Then privacy impact could link personal information, IP addresses, source code, non disclosure agreements, all this. So don't do that. So we have the tools that we're going to use today. MalwareBazaar, this free malware sample analysis. You can search by hashes. We're going to use abuse IPDB. It's a community report abuse of IP. So any IP, so off or malicious, usually they report to the IPDB. We're going to use ThreatFox. Also, it's a database of IOCs. We're going to do hyper analysis. We're going to use URL house and also some MITRE ATT&CK. So common malware families that you will see is stealers. Stealers are basically they read a file kaga, in your system for a password. So you're going to get a password kaga. Or Lumma, that's one of the system that we're going to analyze today. So please make sure that system ka kuran karaynin. We had your loaders. It's loaders it's first stage loader, right? So basically, file you click on it, and then it's gonna run a command. Command it's gonna go outside, and then you're gonna get the second payload. Okay. So ransomware, so encrypts files. Lockbit, Kira, Black Hat. Those are the guys got the right? So it's gonna encrypt your files. It's gonna drop a ransom node, and then it's gonna start exploiting data before the encryption. And then RATs or remote access tools. I think RAT basically they're gonna have remote shell. They can do key login, so they can write, they can do screen capture, they can also do file transfer. Okay. And then banking Trojan, that's also a big one. We have the C2 frameworks, we have the crypto miners, basically CBU for crypto mining. And then we also have what you call worms, right? Worms basically we had self-propagation. So they are computers who can each person click basically computer or same network they're gonna propagate themselves into other devices. All right, so let's do you isolate, right? 7 steps triage workflow, confirm the sample is in container location. Rename it with mouse that you can actually do that. Password or so that actually create a sample malware that usually you need to rename it to .mouse, okay? So that will preserve the original file, and also you'll be able, and then you get the hash, right, of the file. You identify the magic bytes of the file. Is it Windows? It is Linux. You extract some strings. You enrich, basically meaning you go to open source tools and you analyze it, and then you map it, meaning what kind of behavior they're doing, and then you escalate to the next person. So mesh analysis basically it's the file name, right? If you run this is one of the notes that Saktayo Kalasa note ku say. So it's file name kokale, maga file size of the file type, the MD5 and SHA-256 is the file, external enrichment. So if you do check VirusTotal or malware analysis, you basically do whatever you found in here, and then you observe indicators, URL, IP address, all those stuff. Okay. So decision tree, when you escalate when to close. So file can do malicious, that's a red flag, right? You have to escalate. If it's benign, now good, you can also close that. Unknown data, you basically pull host artifacts, computer, right? you check for files or activities and processes or create grid so that you can make a decision. So waxyaalaha saaga ay qaldaan is usually so talk about 070 detection inay u malayaan inay safe tahay. That's not safe. New sample might have 0 detections, right? So meelo kale ka raadi, okay? And then sometimes what they do is uploading files into internal files. Don't do that. Also, don't skip the host context. Hosting and this is why what is actually happening, right? Because I know company you have a lot of information. You have a lot of data. You have the host data. You have network data, email data. So you will understand a lot of information so you can make a really good decision. But SAC team instead of getting the context from the host side, they ignore that and they give you sometimes partial information. Okay, so this is what you will carry into your shift, right? So L1 has to collect static indicators, enrich them, get the hash of the file, do the string analysis, do VirusTotal or other open source tools, and then you can give the next person a clean triage node that you did really good analysis. Okay, so that is that. So let me do that. Okay, I'm gonna close this guy because I'm gonna use my. Let's do this. You guys see my screen? Oh?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, I'm going to post some information in the chat for you guys. You see this blank screen, right?
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Let's do. So I posted something in the chat for you, and let's see. You can get my file here. So I want you guys follow along and do this with me. Let's see. Let's get my. Okay, let's see. Where's my document? Okay, so the first link that we're going to go is see. So this is the hash that we're going to analyze. I'm going to copy this, paste in the chat for you guys. So if you look at the chat, you'd have the SHA-256. Okay. So what we're going to do is, and that file, in a gelina mesh ugu and gelina you can actually you can go to MalwareBazaar. MalwareBazaar, I think that's what it is. So let me here. So I have the and the SHA-256. So what we're gonna do is, hopefully I don't like this. What is this? Please click on the number with the highest value. Come on, 9. Okay, 9 again. That's what I'm doing. Come on. Okay, 9. I'm gonna change this. I don't like this. Okay. Come on now. Okay, this is easier. So pick the two shapes that are identical. Isn't this one? And this one, right? Let's see. No? Two shapes that are identical. So maybe this one and this one. Okay. Finally, okay. So file or SHA-256 mentioned is so just we're assuming, incident die, right? And guys, you have the incident scenario in the chat. But basically, incident die, you have the SHA-256 of that specific malware. So we talked about MalwareBazaar, right? So it's a database of malware samples. So okay, let's see if anyone. Okay, I think I know what's wrong. What we can do is let's do browse and just see. We can do. Let's see the syntax first. So syntax is okay. Let's do SHA-256. SHA-256. And then we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna paste. Let's see what we got. Okay, so this is what you're gonna see. Okay, so we have this information. So we have the SHA-256. We have the date that it was reported, so it's like 2023, and then we have the type of the file. It's executable. We have the signature. Signature basically means the attribution or this malware overlay. Okay. So this is by the way, MalwareBazaar is a company or Switzerland it's a non-profit, right? Or someone, I think it's called Roman or something. So basically, they do a lot of e-check or threat intelligence platforms. ThreatFox, URL House, another one, I think it's Photo or something like that. But right here is the signature. So infostealer, Lumma Stealer. So Lumma Stealer you can copy it. Just do it like this. Go to the internet. Do what's actually a Lumma Stealer. So you can do paste in here, and then you can actually do that. So you can see breaking down delivery techniques. Lumma Stealer is designed to steal from browser-based Chromium, but actually so right here, Lumma Stealer is an infostealer malware as a service program developed for Microsoft Windows. Lumma Stealer is distributed by affiliates a number of campaigns. So basically, you can tell Malware-as-a-Service. So basically, I gather that, right? Service and then it's basically a platform I would send those bad guys. So this is actually a big one. Now you have good information, and then tags clear fake, blah blah, signed, and then reporter is this guy. Okay. You can do sample CISA, right? You can actually click on here, and that's what I was telling you guys. That's what did you see? Make sure to not run on your device, okay? But I know we don't need that. We can click on the SHA-256 file right here, and then that will go show us more information. So here, I have a SHA-256 file, the MD5. We see the human hash, file name cast right here. So basically, you can tell file camera on chrome.exe that chrome setup.exe. So adiga waxa laga yaabaa qof caadi ah marka tahay oo kale waxaan ugu soo diray inaan umalayso file caadi inuu yahay. You can say, yeah, this is Chrome. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to update my system. That is waxa umalay doonto, but it's not. Right here, sabalkaas u deji kartaa. Okay. File size waa kana right here. The first thing markuu ugu horeysay, last seen, never, file type executable, blah blah. So this is the information that you have. Signing ka inta ka arki kartaa, right? And there is also some other organizations or threat intelligence platforms that actually detected this assimilation. So ANY.RUN or Kamida, so that if I open this, I'm going to get this file. So if I click on here, this will take me to the ANY.RUN analysis, which will show me more information. So right here, it actually show me how that it run here. So if you take a look at these pictures, but what I want to do is I'm going to go to here, right? So right here, object that and show file kujiro, right? Google blah blah, and here is the connection that it made. DNS request SMSA. So if I click on here, I'm going to see where it's reaching. So it's reaching to these IP addresses. IP address نفس الكود في كرتا, you know, sometimes Google اسكاله, right? Cloudflare, Preferian.com, blah blah. Those other IP addresses. CN is actually China, so maybe those are maybe in China. This is a process I create get SA. So export.exe, export.exe. Those are the processes. Traffic intellect, right? Right here, you can see 1 KB. You can actually get the actual BCAP at that SOC. Right? This one doesn't have it. You have to log in to get it. But yeah, but you can actually download the BCAP and you can actually do more analysis on it. Right here, you can see the processes. Right? So right here, process 14. You can see Chrome.exe. This is Windows executable. And you can click on it and actually it will tell you the header. So right here, we're calculating the PE, the magic number, blah, blah. This is the main character of the file. So it's executable. Machine type is also Intel. File types right here. So you can get a lot of information in here. And then files I drop garanti, so you see it drops that path file, temp file here, another that path file in the user's admin, right? So CMD is doing it. And right here, GDR, software design, something like that. Yeah, so this actually tells you what the file is doing, right? So that is ANY.RUN. You can go to Cape, right? You can also open here. It's going to show you what it does, right? Behavior, CISA has searching for the windows, creating a windows. DNS request is creating a file in the temp, file commercial creating a file, moving a file, right? So this is actually exactly what I was this file. It runs batch commands, create a process from a recently created file. Right? It launches cmd.exe. File scan camera. This was 10 out of 10 is malicious. Let's do the file scan right here. So right here, the file scan, 0-day detection, threat, reputation, detected 1 confirmed threat IOCs, threat analysis, confirmed threats, blah, blah. So basically, it's going to tell you what exactly it does. So here, indicate of compromise URL, URL. Process I created, absolutely, that's process. But extracted file is 47 extracted files. So that exclusion, it actually does exclusion. It actually excludes the file. It uses WMI query. Use it for virtual machine detection for fingerprinting. It does discovery. It does collection, and it also does defense evasion. If you click on it, it's gonna actually show you right here what it does that. So MITRE attack techniques, exclusion, right? And then if you go down, tactic right here, representing my employ various systems checks to detect and avoid future change. So basically, this is doing is system connectivity say, hey, if you notice that you've been run on a virtual machine, you can kill yourself, or you can delete the file, or you can do something. So actually, it looks like they're doing that in here. Found a known antivirus executable string artifact. Found a string often related to specific virtual machine detection, right? So right here, and it contains embedded executable files. Okay, so that is what that's doing. We go back to here. Again, VM, so these are the tools. Let's actually go to VirusTotal. VirusTotal doesn't have anything. What we can do is, even though we have the file, if you go to VirusTotal, I can do search, I can do a file in here. No, I still have that. So let me go back, find my SHA-256 right here. Copy that. Go to VirusTotal. Put in here. Do that. Boom. So now I have 46 out of 65. So that's crazy. Right here, you can read here. So Trojan, file repetition malware, Trojan generic, malicious. So red button identity, that's really bad. So right here, right, Trojan stealer, fingerprint, file repetition malware. Okay, so Trojan is downloader, stealer, right, infostealer. Community, I like the community. So if you click on the community, it actually will give you some analysis SMAN, right? If you know that this file is already saved, then you can safely ignore this command, blah, blah. Sometimes it's useful, sometimes it's not. Firmware analysis, predict malicious classification ransomware. Let's make it to the details of the file, right here. So MD5 hash of the file is going to give you the SHA-256, file size, history, created time, signature date, first seen, signature kusina. So this is certificate, blah, blah, certification processed. Right here. So internet is more of the header of the file, right? So that's that. More SHA-256. I like right here file architects exactly how we behavior ko. So right here is the behavior. We have some MITRE ATT&CK signatures. You can click on it. Maybe it's gonna give you some information. But right here is actually what it does. So shared modules, execution, persistence, right? And it have a stealth, so direct volume access, obfuscated files information, software backing, obfuscation. It does credential access, right? So here, technique name to click to view, you can actually click on it. This will take you, no, it doesn't give me any information, okay. But yeah, that's actually process discovery. It actually does some discovery techniques. And also it collects information, right? So this tells you, yeah, this is really bad, right? So here, information, for example, it's going to show you medium. So matches change PowerShell policy into insecure level. So actually, that is very bad. They're actually manipulating the PowerShell policies. IP traffic connection class SMS is right here. This is TCP. It gives you the domain name. Gives you that memory URL memory kujiro. Those might be some Google stuff. Hashes right? And files open. So this is the files that it open in the user's computer. Files a computer written files right here. Config.msi. Temp file. I think we saw this in the URL ANY.RUN. We saw all these files. Files deleted. So I'll actually deleting some other files right here. Files dropped. There's also those other files right here. Registry are open, as we talked about the persistence. So we saw that registry key set. So it's adding new registry key. You can see this, putting that file in here. The registry key A delete get is right here. Process created is right here. Windows hidden is right here. Right. So this is what we saw for the .bat file. You can actually grab this file and do more analysis on it if you want to. You can actually see what it's actually doing. And yeah. So that's that, guys. We'll let you guys complete the remaining steps. I think you'll be able to do it. Really, the instruction will tell you what to do. So I'm going to stop recording. Let's see.